Good afternoon. We'll call the special meeting for Wednesday, February 19th, 2025 to order at 4:02 p.m. Ms. Olson, roll call, please.
Director Venkis? Here. Director Carey?
Here.
Director Hafley?
Here.
Director Jorgensen?
Present.
Director Malpacum?
Here.
Director Nelson?
Here.
Director Ott?
Here.
All 7 board directors are present in person. Please join me as we observe a moment of silence. Thank you. Director Bankers, can you please make the motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
I move that the Board of Education adopt the agenda as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Director Venkis?
Aye.
Director Carey?
Aye.
Director Hafley?
Aye.
Director Jorgensen?
Aye.
Director Malpacum?
Aye.
Director Nelson?
Aye.
Director Ott?
Aye.
The agenda has been adopted as presented. May I please have Dr. Comfort. Dr. Comfort, could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Dr. Comfort. I called out your name and you looked at me in surprise, like I didn't warn you that I was going to call you, but appreciate your flexibility. Director Carey, can you please make the motion to adopt the consent items?
Yes, I move that the Board of Education adopts all consent items as designated in the agenda. And the consent items are B2, personnel recommendations for February 19th, 2025.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Just wanted to let the community know that this agenda item is being brought to a special meeting due to the retirement notification deadlines outlined in the employee agreements, including the master agreement, the executive professional and education support professionals meet and confer handbook. This could not wait until March because the deadlines come before then. Employees needed to be informed about the board approval of retirement and transition, their transition applications. So with that, roll call, please.
Director Venkis?
Aye.
Director Carey?
Aye.
Director Hafley?
Aye.
Director Jorgensen?
Aye.
Director Malpacum?
Aye.
Director Nelson?
Aye.
Director Ott?
Aye.
The ayes have it. The agenda item pertaining to the personnel recommendation was adopted by the board. There are no action items on the agenda today. There is one non-action item, which is the legislative agenda. The board reviewed and discussed the 2025 legislative agenda last Wednesday during the work session, and the revisions that were suggested has been incorporated into the new legislative agenda. Board directors, do you have any additional discussion at this time on this topic? Okay, so this can move to consent. Board, do I have thumbs up to moving this to consent? Okay, so this will move to consent at a future point in time. Before I adjourn, Superintendent Gall, we promised periodic updates about Jenkins Middle School at every board meeting. Is there any new updates?
The update for the community is all the core samples from the geotechnical engineering company have been taken.
So obviously, the primary area of concern was the 7th and 8th grade wing. I appreciate the forethought of those engineers. They took samples all the way around the campus to include the parking lot for us to understand if there are any other larger concerns and/or remediations in future spaces. So we're just awaiting those results. Hopefully by next week, we'll have preliminary results on that to be able to share with the community.
Okay, thank you. Any feedback from the board on what Superintendent Gall shared? Okay, thank you for that update, and next week we will have more information to share in this regard. Seeing Director Jurgensen.
Before you adjourn, just a quick question. Can we get a calendar update on what might be ahead? Part of I emailed the board this morning, and for some things I wanted to chat about during the work session, but Director Hafley mentioned that there is some stuff upcoming that would be better fit for what I presented to the board today in an email. So could you share that with us so that the public knows that we've got things coming up?
Yeah, we discussed this at the last agenda setting meeting, which only took place, I think, 6 days back, and I haven't had an opportunity to circle back with the board and the public. This is the first opportunity, so thank you for bringing that to our attention. So one of the requests that came from the board was a board retreat, and initially there was talk about having the board retreat today, and the special meeting agenda requiring the board to approve the personnel recommendations would have made that the board retreat would have required the board retreat if one took place to happen in this facility right here, okay? And so there was feedback provided that the board retreat should be better off at an off-site location as opposed to right here in this location. So with that taken into consideration, the board retreat was scheduled for March 12th. That is when currently it's scheduled on the calendar. Next week, so the board is also aware of it. One of the feedback that came from you also, Director Jurgensen, was that the board requested one board meeting a month and one work session a month. And taking that into consideration, the board wanted a workload that reflected that. And Superintendent Gall also talked about the heavy workload on the board over the last several weeks with several listening sessions. We don't have anything on schedule for February 26th at this point in time, so there won't be a board meeting next week. March 5th would be the regular first board meeting of the month with a normal set of agenda, and right now March 12th is being slotted for the board retreat at an off-site location. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Director Nelson.
I just would like to comment that I requested the retreat at the beginning of January, and we could have still gone to an offsite this evening. So it is incredibly frustrating that we as a board have not been able to come together and discuss what we would like to accomplish in the second half of the school year. I feel like we are sort of just, I don't know what we're focusing on as a board. So what specific goals we're trying to attain to over the next couple of months. So I just am very disappointed that it is not going to happen until March. I've been patient, waiting, and I just need for it to be known that this is not okay.
Appreciate your feedback on that, and that was communicated at the board agenda setting meeting last week to, instead of having a retreat, let's even have a work session item on what the board priorities are going to be. It doesn't need to be a retreat. But the feedback that was received during that agenda setting meeting was that we needed to have it at an off-site location, and having two meetings asking the board directors to have one here and one at the off-site location was going to involve extra lift. So appreciate your feedback on this regard, and I understand your concern and feedback, and it's duly noted.
I heard your point that there were some people who felt going to an offsite was not ideal. I think you could have asked us if we would have been willing, because I certainly would have.
Okay, and as the president, I take into consideration all the feedback that I receive, and there were other board directors in the room too. Director Hafley, do you want to add anything to the topic? You were in the room as well. And the agenda is set in a short period of time, and I don't have sometimes the luxury of responding back and asking for feedback and waiting for feedback. It's set between that 1 hour, and the trust is that the board president and the vice president are going to represent the voice of the board and communicating with the district administration in a responsive manner. Director Hafley, do you have anything to add? Okay. And that was taken into consideration, as I suggested. It was taken into consideration. I suggested having a work session on this topic today, and the feedback there was that this was not the time. Thank you. Seeing no further business, if there are no objections, this meeting will adjourn at 4:12 p.m. Thank you.